Welcome back. I am here with Alexis Green, otherwise known as Verde Love. And she was actually brought to our show by our amazing camera woman, editor. And we just thought that Alexis just has a very interesting story, interesting thoughts, a great outlook. And we're going to kind of just pick her brain today and get to know a little bit about her. So, Verde Love.
There you go.
Verde Love. All right, so Alexis, tell me a little bit about yourself, first of all. Just kind of give me a little bit background. What's your story?
Wow, that's a lot.
Question?
Yes, it is a big question. I'll start with the basics, though. I'm from LA area, the South Bay. I've always been creative and like artistic. Like if there's a group of students and it's a project and someone needs to like draw something up, I was always the person that they're like, okay, draw something. And then I started getting around other people that were more creative, but that mainly started happening in college. Like I started meeting more creative people where I felt more like we could connect easier, I guess, because I kind of had problems connecting with people.
Yeah.
And especially like long-term things. Like, I don't know, we all have our story of like the past and things that have happened and everything. But things for me, like, at least recently, a big turnaround was going to Costa Rica because I studied abroad there, as you know.
Yes,
and
I did my research. I did a little Instagram stalking.
Yes, and that really showed me a lot about who I was and like, just like, because I felt a little lost, you know, just out of place. Like, okay, just so many questions about things that are happening and just like always feeling like the observer of things.
Yeah.
And moving to Costa Rica, that was just everything just started aligning, and I would meet the perfect people that treated me so differently and like in the way that I had to start convincing myself and just like really understanding like, okay, I do deserve this friend that actually does want my best interest and like believing that. And I met some really beautiful people out there, and most of them were artists. They're all musicians, and that was something that didn't exist for me before. Like I didn't know any musicians, but I've always been in love with music. So that's a big thing about me. Like I love music. Yeah, super passionate about it. There's always a song stuck in my head. So I started making music out there.
So that's when you really got into it a lot more.
Yeah, and they encouraged it.
So was it the people out there you would say that were your biggest influence? It was just a different type of people?
Yes, I would say that, because people would be on the streets and just with the guitar, and another person has like a clave, or I learned about all different types of instruments thanks to them out there, and they have the culture there. It's heavily, like, art is really appreciated, basically. Art and expression and, like, love, basically, and however it comes. Like, I don't know. And they're saying, their slogan is pura vida. Like, that's their lifestyle. And it basically just means, like, life is good. Like, life is chill. Everything comes in its different shapes. But overall, like, let's enjoy it, like pura vida. So they say that for everything, and that encompasses it all, and it's very musical, and it's very pura vida.
So you felt like you fit in more, like you kind of found people who encouraged that creative side of you. Did you feel that was suppressed in the United States, or did you feel like you didn't realize how strong it was until other people kind of pulled it out of you, or you saw other people doing it and appreciating it?
Everything that you're
saying. All of that?
Yeah, literally everything. I also think I probably didn't believe in, like, myself, because I was never told that, like, oh, you have a great voice, you can sing. It wasn't until I was in Costa Rica and I started to just, like, because when you want to express yourself somehow, you know, it's like if you want to cook something and you have a taste in your mouth and you really want to eat something, but you don't know how to cook, you're still gonna try, or I would at least. Like, so I was just trying to use my voice as an instrument, but back home no one like, I had a bad voice to a lot of people, so just kind of like, maybe it was having people's ideas about me and accepting them as me. Yeah. And going out there, like, there's something really powerful happens when you just, like, leave everything and you just go somewhere completely unfamiliar or, like, unknown with people that you don't know anything about them. Yeah. And what it does to to you as a person, or at least what it did to me, is showed me, okay, this is what I love. This is what I don't love. I forgot about a lot of the patterns that I used to have because nothing was familiar. So like nothing was cueing like, in this type of situation you do this, or I don't know. It was just different. It was so much differentness that I was like, the true me was basically able to blossom. Like yes, so it was the environment that kind of just like allowed that to happen.
Yeah. So there was the standard that you've known your whole life wasn't that anymore. You kind of got to choose who you wanted to be without some standard being set for you or people telling you this is this way and this isn't that way.
Yeah.
The people in the culture itself let you blossom or made you feel comfortable to be who you are and what you're interested in. Right.
Yeah, and I mean that happens over there too, but I guess I don't know. It's really it's tricky because everyone has belief systems and everyone think like we all can have like an idea of what's right and wrong and everything, but I think I was just able to step into myself more and be able to choose, like just having the option, like okay, and respecting other people's, like respecting the differences because you see a lot of differences and you live amongst it.
Definitely.
Yes.
No,
if that answers that.
So definitely, yeah. So now you say that you're getting into music more.
Yes.
Is that true? So because of that, and how long ago did you come back? How much time did you spend there?
It's been, it's kind of, it's crazy. It's been exactly a year, pretty much.
Wow.
Because May, I came back. I was there my entire junior year.
Okay.
I'm a senior now, so I came back last May, and yeah, it's wild, so wild. But yeah, I was very musically involved in Costa Rica. Like I had my first performances of my own like live music or my original songs out there, and
oh wow.
So that I got the musical ball rolling. Yeah, like I built so much momentum out there thanks to everyone that was around me and just the musical vibe. So coming back to Chico, I'm like, okay, well, how do I keep this going? I know not much about the music scene in Chico. Is there even a scene? Like, I knew some parts were here, but I came back to Chico and joined Soda Productions.
Okay, and what's that?
Soda Productions is a classroom. Well, it's a class, but it's basically like, it's a bunch of students and we come together and we put on music events, and so we're basically a music company because we do A&R, which is reaching out to different artists to like perform at events. We organize the events, we pick the venues.
All student ran?
Exactly.
Wow.
Like, so we have AV, like audio visual, so they have cameras, and we set that up. We do editing of them.
How'd you find this?
The whole thing.
How'd you find it?
You know, things just align. How did I discover? Okay, so I'm a Spanish major because I ended up extending my stay in Costa Rica for a year. But yes. So that ended up changing my major to Spanish, and I was like not ahead on credits, but I'd basically fulfilled all the requirements for the Spanish major. Yeah. So that left me a little bit of space in my schedule. So I decided to take, and since I was doing music out there, I'm like, okay, I'm going to join a music class. So I decided on Music 309, which is run by Anita Rivas, who is also the professor of Soda Productions. So that's music industry. So you're just learning about the general like music business. Yeah. And so that was helpful. And I got more out of it because like literally one day after class, she walked upstairs and there were some other of the students that were in that 309 class, and they were going upstairs. And I'm like, where are y'all going? Like, I'm just trying to dive into music.
Where are you going?
Yes, I'm like, let me go with you.
I want to be a part of it.
All these musicians, because they're all music students and they all know each other, and I'm this outsider.
So, but you're comfortable enough now through your experiences in Costa Rica to just be like, hey, let me join you? Or have you always been that way?
Well, Costa Rica definitely opened me up a little bit more, but I think I've always been kind of forced to be open in a way, because I've always identified with like, oh, being different or like being weird. So if someone else is or something, if something is different or weird, it's like, okay, I get that.
Yeah.
I get the norm too. Sometimes I don't understand the norm, but I get the weird.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay with it. I'm comfortable in it. I'm comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Good.
So I walked upstairs just with the professor and everything. They're very friendly. And I'm like, what class is this? Like, everyone's sitting down and it's like, they're like, this is soda. And I had heard of soda. I'd went to a soda event probably like my freshman year where she's a DJ. Her name is Toki Monster and a producer. And so there was a talk, like an interview just like this. And she had came to campus. And she's like a pretty like well-known artist. And so I went to that and I was put on by Soda Productions. So it was kind of like a bell in my head, like, oh, okay, Soda Productions. And I'm like, can I join? I'm not a music student, but can I join? And Anita was like, yeah, sure.
Dang.
And so that was the first semester I got back.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing it both semesters.
Awesome.
And we had our last class yesterday. So it's kind of sad because it was a really big experience for me. Like the same level as study abroad with the just with how it shifted my life.
Yeah. And so do you make music?
I do.
You make music. Okay. Describe the music that you make.
Okay. It's very me.
I like it already.
It's very me. It's very, because there's a thing with music and with artists that make music, and a lot will identify with this. Like, they'll know what I'm talking about when it's like music just it comes to you, ideas come to you, and you're simply the thing to like translate it out. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's certain things just come to me, and I just add on. Because like if I'm producing something, I'll have a beat or I'll just have a melody.
Okay.
And like for example, I'm working on a song right now, and it's like stuck in my head. But that started with just one melody, and I just like laid it down, and then that will bring more ideas, and so you just you layer them, and then you have a song, and you structure it and everything. So I produce beats, and that's how I first started making music. But then I'm like, I want to have lyrics on top of that.
You need a voice.
Yeah, exactly. I have a lot to say.
Do you sing?
As you can tell.
Yeah. Do you sing?
I do.
You do.
I do.
Awesome. So you produce and you sing. That's rad. What, do you write your own songs?
Yes.
And you write. She does it all. Yes. What do you write about to sing about?
It depends on like how I'm feeling.
Is it just anything? I know a lot of songs these days are about love.
Yeah.
Is it just about love?
That's an interesting question because that depends on what you think love is or what love is. But I'll say this. I started making music to kind of be positive affirmations for myself, because if you hear certain songs, it's like, okay, like this is cool, but it's not exactly what you're feeling. And so if there's something happening and it's not necessarily like what you want, like I always believe in don't just complain about it, but like produce something that you would like to see, or write the book that you would have liked to read when you were a child, make the music that you would like to listen to.
Yeah.
So I started just writing lyrics about like affirming myself with different things, and that people enjoyed it, and like
good.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, and my friends in Costa Rica, they enjoyed it a lot, and so I was performing those songs first. Then it's really interesting, like how the environment affects the kind of music I make, and I don't know if that's because I know it is. Partially, it's because I'm aware of how other people are going to receive it, especially now that I know that people are actually listening to my music, and it's not just me practicing and being like, oh, this is a cool song for myself, let me just share it.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, I know this thing that I share, people so I'm kind of not worried about it, but I'm more aware of the result. But I try to get out of that because that like kind of, I think that taints art a little bit.
Yeah, it needs to be genuine.
Yeah,
Right.
and regardless of like whatever happens, but still situations change, and so I write about, some of them are about love.
Okay.
That's a thing. Some of it is about, like, I have a song called La Situación, and I literally wrote it after I was like And there's this weird love thing. And so the first line is, looks like I put myself in yet another situation. And so the rest of the song is just about like that thing that has happened plenty of times before. It's the situation.
We all
it's like, oh
find
my
ourselves
gosh.
there.
Yes, exactly.
That's relatable though too. That's what's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm sure a lot about what you sing about or write about or produce is relatable. Like you said, positive affirmations, love. The situation that you just said that and I'm like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about there if that's about love.
That's cool. Well, yeah. See, I'm trying to think less about like, is it relatable? But then again, now, or at least before, I wasn't really thinking about that because it was for me. But now I am thinking more so about that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I realize that people could also benefit from positive affirmations, you know? Like, people could also benefit from you speaking on something and the listener being like, oh, I'm not the only one. Like, this person is also feeling this or, like, going through this or, yeah.
Make other people not feel alone.
Yeah. So I guess it is. It's so funny that I'm, like, processing this all right now. But I guess it is okay for me to, like, think about the product, like when it's done as I'm crafting it, but just like not too much.
Yeah, but it's also to relate to like I said, I was a stalker McGee and read through some of your Instagram captions, which are great. Everybody go follow her, Verde Love, on Instagram. Good stuff, and you'll be able to see some of her art and her music. Anyways, but like you said, it's you're thinking about the product, but also you had a post about rock climbing and that the process or the journey is just as important or more important than that final destination or the final product. You said it was just the 2% of of the best. I'm like, I have the exact percentage.
Yes, I did say 2. I did say 2 because there's some satisfaction.
I never thought about it like that either. That kind of expanded a way that I think about it now too. I'm like, wow. You're right. Standing at the top of that mountain or wherever you're at is awesome, but your entire journey to get you there and what you went through and that experience of climbing up was probably even more thrilling than just standing there, right?
Wow, that's so cool that you received that.
I did. That painted a different picture for me. And I think that that's awesome that you kind of shared that thought because that kind of clicked for me in a little way. And
that's cool.
And I know that it's a different experience for you. You related that to rock climbing, but because you gave that analogy, that kind of clicked in place for me with different other types of journeys. Like you said, there's different types of love. There's different, or I'm relating to what you said, even though I'm not relating it to rock climbing.
Right, yeah.
I'm still relating that in a positive way and like, wow, that kind of painted a pretty cool picture for me. So
I'm glad.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Good.
It's a thing.
Yeah, and that was great. What is I know you just gave me the first line of the situation, but are there any other like lyrics that are super specific ones that kind of stand out in your head, like a few little rhymes or something that are just
what comes up? Oh yeah. So it goes, when I'm with a dude, can't get too into it. Seems like I'm cheating on the music, and all I want to do is make music. So since it's all I want to do, I'm gonna do it. Like, it's called Fidelity, and it's basically an ode or oath. Is it ode or oath?
ode to
yes, to music.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's also what La Situación is about too. Because it's like, I don't know, some things, and it doesn't have to just be guys. It's like there's distractions that happen that like are keeping you from fulfilling your life purpose or like your passion, and
that's rad. I like that.
So,
because there are a lot of distractions. Like you said, you're cheating on your
right,
love
exactly.
for music.
It's like you're doing this thing, but you're feeling pulled to like do something else, and it's like, and if you want to do this thing, just go and do it. Like, why? Time is the most valuable thing we have. Yeah. And what are you doing with your time,
Speaking of your passions, you have a YouTube. She also has a YouTube, by the way.
Hi.
You made a YouTube video about what you're passionate about, finding out about what you're passionate about. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that for our viewers?
I think I made that video and did not watch it. So, but I probably said something about, yeah, I know what I said. Basically, like, if you go back to your childhood and, like, think about what you enjoyed, like, just wholeheartedly, that people had to pull you away from that thing to be like, okay, now it's time to eat. Like,
yeah.
that time, like, flew by when you were doing. But I was speaking with someone, and they said, maybe they don't remember, but they were telling me that they didn't have that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say that they're lying or anything, but it just made me think about, okay, well, what else could it possibly be? Or, like, how else could you realize that? Yeah, I feel very fortunate that I do know what my passion is.
Yeah.
But it's like, dang, really want to empathize with people who haven't, because even when I did know that I was in love with music and with, like, you know, as soon as I get home from school, just get right back to iTunes and just organizing that, I didn't think of it like, this is my I didn't know at the time, like this is my passion. Like, I'm going to be doing this forever. It wasn't until literally last Costa Rica until I'm like, okay, maybe I could do something with music, you know? So I think maybe we're overlooking certain things, like, because we're all really good at something.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's, like, painting nails. Like, what if someone's really, oh my God, I just brought attention to nails.
No, don't look. No, my nail lady is my girl. I will not go anywhere else, and I swear that's her. She is amazing at it. Like, I would there are so many things that I value and see in other people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that's something I could never do. But and anything, you know, whether it's painting nails, whether it's painting portraits, whether it's running, whether it's music.
It could be so simple,
but we overlook that as maybe not as important as what is expected of us.
Yes. And they're probably, that's getting to their head too much, because there are a lot of outside opinions, and there's media, and there's, like, what we grew up, and there's a lot of conditioning telling us, trying to mold us, when we just need to, like, let ourselves be molded.
Yeah.
You know?
Mold ourselves.
It'll just happen, like, naturally, when we just kind of, like, disregard that stuff.
Back to your Instagram, where I'm finding all of my fun little tidbits that I want to pick your brain a little bit more about. There's a post that says, which I've seen this one before and I love it, I think it's great, like, a candle doesn't lose its flame by lighting other candles, and your caption was, you know, spread positivity and inspiration and happiness and love and all of that. How do you do that? And how can you teach others to do that? Like, in what way is that done?
I think that's best done by doing it myself and just being that and embodying that and emanating that and taking care of myself, loving myself, spreading positivity to myself, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
And doing all these, because, like, I have in the past, like, criticized and judged, and I still do it, others for, like, why are you doing this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, I'm also doing it. Even if it's in a different form, I'm still doing it. So it's like, you also want to be, you know, be the change. You have to do that first.
Yeah.
So, and then I, like, the fact that you read the rock climbing caption and that struck something, like, within you, I'm starting to realize that just me being who I am and me sharing how I'm thinking, that's why I'm really making music. Like, just the fact that what's going on in my head can be valuable for others, it's like, okay, well, good thing I'm an artist and good thing I can paint, good thing I can write. Like, I'm going to share this. I'm just going to share it and be and just be myself, because apparently that's, like, the best thing I can do at this point. And that's the best thing everyone can do, I'm pretty sure. Like, we all just got to, like, find out who we are and just, like, be that authentically without the outside opinions, because that's not who we truly are, and that's not where the most value is.
Definitely. Yeah. I agree. You show love by being love. You show love by being positive to yourself. You inspire others by following your inspiration.
And all that is natural for us.
Yeah, and I think that that's why you're here right now.
Yeah. Like, everything just, it lines up.
You're living that truth, and that's what you're doing, and it's spreading. And
yay, that makes me happy that it's working, which it does naturally. Like everything really does flow, and Costa Rica really taught me that.
Yeah.
Costa Rica also taught me. I want to share this with people because I would be in some really sketch. Like a lot of people, if I wrote it on paper, people would be like, "Whoa, that's a sketch situation. Why did you do that? Or why were you there?" But in all those situations, even though there was like a lingering of fear, I would always dismiss it by like singing, "Don't worry," like just Bob Marley, like every little thing is gonna be okay, like everything's gonna be all right. Just breathe through it. I would just breathe through so many situations, and it would work out so perfectly. Yeah. Like just better than I could have even thought up. You know, it just kind of.
Breathe, be present in the moment, just let things unfold.
Yes, and life is like that. Like it's not just one situation. Well, it's situations, but it's situation. And life is just a bunch of it's just a bunch of moments. So when you're just breathing in the moment, everything seems to work out. And I think it's really simple.
Yeah, it's a lot. I feel like we complicate it more than it needs to be.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think we need to hear some of your music.
Sharp as a blade of grass, I stand pretty tall. Got the world in the palm of my hand. My mind did this thing one time where it told me everything works out fine. Alright, through the turmoil, saw some shea butter, coconut oil, spirulina on it. Surely seems that human beings are made with a tendency to complicate all the things like reality, don't it? In my afro thick, it's a mix with self-expression, ever so boundless. It's so fantastic. Keep me cool in the universe like born. We know the rules, so come first.
Dig it.
Cool.
It's good stuff.
That makes me happy. Yeah, that song was called Shea Butter.
Yeah.
It was produced by my brother. His name is Adrian. Yeah, so check that out. Shea Butter.
Any background to that one?
Well, it says like, through the turmoil, slap some shea butter, coconut oil, spirulina on it. Surely seems that human beings are made with a tendency to complicate all the things like reality, don't it? And then it also talks about feminine principles, and how to like protect the feminine. And what I meant by the feminine was basically like self-time, like when you're alone, self-care.
Yeah.
Because like when you're in that creative space, you know, like. In meditation, people close their eyes like for the darkness, you know, and that's because the way I see it, at least, is that the physical reality is more of a masculine thing. You know, it's like lines, it's very defined and definite, and then the internal is the feminine, where it's creative and expressive. And in your imagination, like if I wanted to be on a boat right now, I could literally picture it. Oh, look at that! I'm already on a boat, like really quickly, and that's just from. You know, and so that's the feminine. And so when I'm alone, self-care is really important. That's feminine, you know, and then the external, certain things but the external has to protect the feminine as well. And then also just like slap some shea butter, coconut oil, because, you know, you have to moisturize your skin and stay shiny. Yeah. And spirulina powder is also like super just there's a lot of things. And I make my music about my life. I try to keep it true.
Just honestly, thank you for joining us today. This was great. I'm so happy that we actually were doing street interviews last week, and we ran into her on the street, and we're like, okay, this has just been talked about. We need to get you in the studio. I want to pick your brain. I want to like hear your outlook, your insight, your music, your art. There's so much cool stuff happening. And just... You know, thanks for joining us. Thanks for letting me do that. Thanks for sharing all of that with myself and everyone who's watching. I definitely got even more, you know, like I said, I stalked your Instagram and found all these things that I wanted to know, and I appreciate that you shared that with us. And everybody go stalk her Instagram, go listen to her SoundCloud. What else is there? I don't know what other social medias, but... Just
Google Verde Love.
Verde Love.
Everything will come up.
Great. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharp as a blade of grass, I stand pretty tall. Got the world in the palm of my hand. My mind did this thing one time where it told me everything works out fine. Alright, through the turmoil, saw some shea shea butter, coconut oil, spirulina on it. Surely seems that human beings are made with a tendency to complicate all the things like reality.